Hey everybody, it's Pete. So one of the questions that we get all the time that we're going to talk about in today's Election University episode is, are election judges trained, and if so, how? So yeah, of course they are trained. Before every election, we offer in-person classes, and we also have some online courses folks can take. So if they can't make it to a class, they can do it at their own convenience at home. A lot of judges do both. They'll come to the in-person class, listen to me talk for a while, but then also do the online one. Judges are paid an additional $30 for completing the training, and even some of our most seasoned judges that have done it for years, if not decades, do come to either an in-person training class or complete the online training before every election. Almost all of our judges do. And that's great because it is a good refresher since, we don't have a lot of election days. And if you're a brand new judge, we want to make sure that you are fully briefed, fully understand exactly what the job entails. So during the training, we're going to cover just about everything. So we go through what to expect before Election Day, things you need to know, like what about food for Election Day, what you can wear, how long you'll be there, etc. We talk about everything that's got to get done before the polls open. We talk about once the polls open, how to check in a voter, and then all sorts of special circumstance voting, from everything to somebody who's got an ID required flag, somebody who had a mail ballot voted or sent to them, but they want to vote in person. All sorts of different circumstances. Somebody who maybe made a mistake and wants to vote another ballot, how you go through that. We talk about assisting voters, accessibility with voters. We talk about all the different rules and statute changes that may have happened since the last election, so that each judge is fully briefed. We go through the equipment and how to get it turned on, how it works throughout the day, if there's an issue during the day, how to handle it on your own before reaching out to us if you need additional assistance. Then we also talk about once the polls close, all the documentation, all the processes, all the double checking that has to be done before supplies and materials are brought back to the courthouse. So we really go through the whole process. We give a ton of information. It can probably be overwhelming if you're a first-time judge, but one of the things that we've started since in the last few years is we have a pretty in-depth but pretty quick and easy-to-use election judge training manual that every judge gets that comes to in-person classes. We'll email out as well, and then also throw in the supplies that get delivered on election day so judges have it. It's a great resource that kind of goes step by step through the whole process. So as long as you're following that guide, it's going to be super easy to follow throughout the day. But we've also, there's no head judge in any precinct. It's total teamwork, and it's bipartisan. There's either going to be 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats, or 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, or 2 and 1 if it's a consolidated primary and we're only using 3 judges. That's help make sure everything's even, everything's fair, everything's on the level. So we go through that. We also spend a lot of time talking about the different forms that have to be completed to show that ballots were accounted for, votes were accurately cast. We have the same number of ballots counted as we do voters who voted. So we'll go through that whole process. But it's, like I said, judges who have been working for years and years, decades sometimes, come to trainings before each class just to get refreshed up. But it's a great way, if you are new, to really get in-depth knowledge of how the process works. And then, my office and I, we're more than happy throughout the process leading up to Election Day. If you come up with another question, if you run into an issue, reaching out and talking to us so we can try to walk you through it, because we want you to have the best election day possible as a judge, because then that also means that you as the voters are going to have a great election day as well. So that's kind of election judge training. There's a lot to it, but I think it's been super helpful. And I think most judges who have been around from before I started till now would agree, we keep trying to improve it. We keep trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more intuitive, because we want, like I said, judges and voters to have the best election day possible. So that's today's episode. We'll be back pretty quick here with another one, but hopefully this was at least a little bit informative.